Oh, you done it now, Johnny.
Welcome to the breakdown with Jay and Nell, where we'll discuss all of your NFL and NBA news.
Tap in if you want to get to the breakdown.
Welcome to the breakdown with Jay and Nell. I'm Jay,
And I'm L.
and we have a lot of guests on this on the show with us today. We're gonna go and talk to you guys about Super Bowl 59, give you our predictions. We also have some friends with us that are gonna give us their predictions and insight as well. So I just want to say I appreciate all of y'all for coming on our show and being as guests. If y'all regular watchers of the show, y'all subscribe to the show. Mr. G, Swift, and random sports fan Levi, they've been on the show before. We have a new guest on the show with us is Takes by Calvin from TikTok. Calvin, you could briefly introduce yourself and then we'll get started.
Well, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all taking the time to invite me to the show. Again, a lot of my content is around NFL, basketball, NBA, obviously, speculative angles. Just different trains of thought for different topics. So a lot of short form. Don't really have a long form platform, but I am developing that in the future. So.
All right. Bro, we appreciate you having you on the show. I know you've been a busy man, but I'm glad you able to grace us with your presence. So thank you. All right. We're gonna get into these predictions, y'all. So the first question I have for you all is who has the edge? The Eagles or the Chiefs? And it doesn't matter. Whoever speaks, that's who goes first. So
I
floor
think
is open.
I think that that I think that the Chiefs have the edge mainly because it's Patrick Mahomes. You know what I
I
mean?
guess
You
I go
can never
first.
count him out.
All
And
right. So Eagles and the Chiefs. All right. So we already know what Patrick Mahomes brings to the table. We already know what the Chiefs they've been before. They actually beat the Eagles a couple years ago in the playoffs. So the Eagles they got a lot of payback to get to the Chiefs. So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a tough game. We know the Chiefs defense gonna get after it, especially with Jalen. I know their number one thing they're gonna try to do is stop Saquon. So they're gonna be their main mission. We saw what Saquon been doing this whole season. We saw what he been doing in the playoffs. So that's gonna be their number one task, stopping Saquon. Can they do it? Guess we'll see. So the Eagles, they're gonna pretty much gonna have to blow out the Chiefs in order to win, in my opinion. Because the longer you let Patrick Mahomes stay in the game and continue to do what he need to do, then the Chiefs they're gonna find a way to win those them tight games. So the Eagles gonna have to take a page out of the Ravens, run the ball, try to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline as much as possible. Time of possession is we're gonna come down to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, run the ball, try to control the clock, so they won't have time to score just like that. So it's gonna be an interesting matchup. See how the Eagles defense, play chess with the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Swift. Like I said, I think again, like I said, Mahomes. We already know again what he does. He's trying to go for a three-peat, the first in NFL history, which is crazy to think about. So I say, yeah. But I think again, going to your question, Jay, is pretty much. I think Eagles do have the slight edge though, because I think they do have a better overall team. Even though, of course, Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. So, and like Swift says, like you gotta make sure you control that clock. Make sure again get them off the field as much as possible. Again, make sure again run down that clock because as we know with Mahomes and them, they can pull out those close games. We've seen that throughout the playoffs. So I think again, if the Eagles they got to go ahead and do a knockout punch early if they can. But if they keep it close, again, Chiefs we see that a lot of their games have been very close, especially in the playoffs. So that's my take.
All right.
So for me, it depends on what you consider an edge. The Eagles
have the edge in roster, but the Chiefs have a significant edge in their coaching staff. In fact, they probably have one of the best coaching staffs in NFL history. So we are going to find out real quick what's more important. Is it your roster construction or is it your coaching? Because to be completely honest with you, Nick Sirianni is an average coach with a loaded roster, and Andy Reid is an elite head coach with a really good roster. So my personal opinion, it just depends on what you look for and who has the edge. Like I said, it's obvious the Eagles have the better roster, but the Chiefs have a way better coaching staff who's going to have them prepared.
Yeah, I will agree with Random there, and I'll play along with that same sentiment. I think this game comes down to coaching. I think in terms of just to answer your question with transparency, the Chiefs have that edge, and it's due to their coaching. I mean, when you really line it line for line, Andy Reid, obviously one of the brightest offensive minds that the game has known. But what a lot of people don't kind of really, well, what I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is really that edge that Patrick Mahomes has due to coaching, and that's you. We've all seen the statistics around Jalen Hurts and how he is basically a bottom 10 quarterback when pressured versus he's a top 10 quarterback when he has a clean pocket. Obviously, the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines in the game. So that's going to be a testament of to see. That's going to be the chess match that we'll see if they can actually get pressure on Jalen. But that being said, on the opposite end, obviously Patrick is one of the best, if not the best. I don't consider him the best quite yet, but one of the best quarterback talents that we have on the game right now. Obviously, they're going to try to put pressure on him with that stacked roster. But that coaching edge plays into effect. I mean, they got Spags, and he's basically considered the best blitzing coordinator that the league has right now, and he faces against that defense every single day in practice. So, and when you think about the defense of the Chiefs, or the defense of the Chiefs, and getting prepared for that stacked offensive unit that the Eagles have. Well, what do they deal with in practice every day? One of the brightest offensive minds in the league has seen. So really that edge comes from that coaching staff that the Chiefs have. Um, you know, case in point too, they got Matt Nagy as offensive coordinator. When you start really looking at the Eagles coordinators, as Random said, Sirianni, very average coach. What does he actually do? He doesn't call plays. He doesn't do any defense. He's just a culture builder, if that's what you really want to classify him. Their offensive coordinator, was it Joe what's his name? I forgot his
Kellen
name.
Moore.
Kellen
Kellen
Moore.
Moore.
Kellen Moore. I mean, is he really stacking up with Andy Reid? And then Nick
No.
Fangio on defense. Patrick Mahomes is 8-0 against his teams as him as a coordinator and the head coach. So I think the edge goes to the Chiefs, and it's due to coaching.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, Calvin. I think he does come back to coaching. And the Chiefs, they've been here before. They've been here before. It's like fourth time, fifth time in the Super Bowl. And Andy Reid,
Mhm.
Andy Reid is he's up there. He's going to consider to be one of the best coaches ever. And Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks. He's making a name for himself. He's cementing his status as an elite quarterback. But I'm gonna get an edge to the Chiefs because they know what to do. They've been here before. And Spags, he's an underrated defensive coordinator. Like every single year, I always doubt that Chiefs defense. I'll be like, all right, well, some high flying offense is gonna exploit their defense, but they always find ways to make the right plays at the right moments, to get the stops they need, to stop the opposing team's strength as an offense. So Spags, he does a great job with game planning, and he's gonna have a game plan to stop Jalen Hurts, to stop Saquon in the running game. So I have to go with the Chiefs. We lost to Levi. Hopefully, there you go. Okay. Are y'all ready to move on?
Yeah, sure.
Is there?
Oh yeah.
All right. Next question I have for y'all is: what will a three-peat mean for the Chiefs?
I mean, I guess I'll take the lead on here. I mean, the three-peat for the Chiefs is. I don't think that one. I think it solidifies their place as one of the best dynasties in the NFL. Obviously, I think more. I think it really means more to Mahomes because Mahomes is obviously in a class by himself in terms of his current peers, but Mahomes is chasing Brady. Brady has what 7 rings, but he has 10 Super Bowl appearances. So out of 10, he's won 7. Patrick Mahomes has 4 rings with 6 appearances, and he's going for the first three-peat in NFL history. The thing that he's chasing specifically with Brady, and I think that the stars are really aligned for him to get this dub. And that's one, Brady's calling the game. That's a big deal. Two, I read today that Messi's going to be in attendance. Just I don't know. I know it's not like storyline, but goat to goat, like he's gonna be there, and he's gonna up his game. I think what Brady really has. I mean, even if he gets this three-peat, the conversation isn't gonna 100% shift to he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Brady still has it, but it's gonna be in that criteria similar to LeBron before he got his last chip. It was still that comparison of, is he better than Jordan? Blah, blah. I think he's going to be in that kind of that area there where there'll still be a question mark. It won't be a definite thing because Brady has one more rings, but he also has a legendary moment. And that legendary moment for Brady is that undefeated season. That's just something that we haven't seen and someone that, I mean, hasn't been done in a very long time. So Brady has that. This three-peat puts Patrick Mahomes as kind of line for line as the legendary moment on his resume. So I think that in itself is really just going to propel him to at least have that conversation. Again, I don't think with the three-peat is going to actually put him as the greatest at that point, but I think maybe one more Super Bowl, I think is done. But I think this definitely puts him, 1A, 1B, or yeah, 1A, 1B, yeah, for sure. With that, so that's just my take on it.
All right, that's a good take.
Yeah, I agree with Calvin. It definitely mean more to Patrick Mahomes this three-peat because everybody already comparing him to Tom Brady up there. Some people have him as the GOAT. So it's a lot of stake on the line for him with his legacy and how he been dominating the NFL for the last 8 years, somewhere around there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just icing on the cake for him. So he gonna come out. You already know how he gonna come out there. I don't know. Y'all saw a picture of him staring at Jalen Hurts. That was on the podium, and Jalen kind of turned his head away from him, but Patrick Mahomes was locked in. He was just staring into his soul. So that just telling me right there that he wants this three-peat for himself, not just for the Chiefs, but for himself. And then I know that the NFL, I ain't gonna say it, but they probably want to see the three-peat also, just for the legacy standpoint.
I think a three-peat would definitely put him in a conversation of his own, and it puts Andy Reid as possibly a
G,
goat
you don't get
or
it?
the goat.
You gotta take G.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll make sure. Yeah, my phone was done.
I feel you
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. All right. Yeah, but like I said, just piggyback what y'all was saying again. The same thing, and it's gonna matter a lot for Patrick Mahomes. Like I say, he's a competitor. He sees it in the way he plays, everything that he does, even with his lifestyle. He doesn't really, play around with things like that. He makes sure everything's, secretive. He doesn't really, he makes sure he gets the job done no matter what. And he always, balls out and does his thing there. He's had, great, coaches, like y'all talked about. He has great teammates, of course, with Travis Kelce, especially, being that tight end. Kind of like Tom Brady would have had it, Robert Gronkowski. And of course, the other guy, Mr. Hernandez, So I know he had his trouble, but again, he was still a great tight end, though. And he had, of course, Edelman, those other, the Randy Moss year. And like you said, that 60-0 is going to be hard to beat. And I don't think again, for my opinion, I don't think that's probably ever going to happen probably within our lifetime. Again, I don't think so. Because that was so difficult to do, even though they didn't finish with the chip. I
Mm,
understand that. But still, going to 16-0, undefeated season, that's some, that's why he said that's some, I said that's why he's the GOAT for a reason. And that's why it's going to be so hard to reach that level. But again, this will definitely keep him, itch him a little bit closer again, up that status for sure. So, but yeah, it's definitely going to mean a lot for Mahomes for sure. And of course, I don't know if you think about the flip side if he loses, but if he wins, yeah, it's definitely going to be something remarkable. And like I said, something historic that everyone will be
mm,
happy. Most people will be happy to see. So,
right. I forgot to ask this on my last show though. We did a show this past Wednesday. So if let's say Patrick Mahomes do win 3 in a row, do that put him over Brady?
not yet.
I
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
think he has to tie him at least. If he ties him, and then he has to three-peat, then yeah, I'll put him over Brady.
I think what brings it closer is the fact that, as G mentioned, Brady had the 16-0, but he didn't finish. I
Mm,
think with this three-peat, if Patrick finishes, I think that's where it really elevates him to not over him. I think he still needs maybe one more chip and an MVP, but I think one chip makes it over. But I think, yeah, I don't think it. I don't think the three-peat will put him there yet.
All right,
See,
7 rings is hard. So,
all right.
with me,
I'm gonna ask. What?
oh yes,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm
Randall didn't
sorry.
get his take.
Go ahead,
uh,
Levi.
I was gonna say, for me with the Brady Mahomes debate, I just want to see what Mahomes does for the rest of his career before I just say, hey, he's better than Brady, because you never know. The NFL is crazy. You never know. Like, they might win the Super Bowl tomorrow or Sunday and then never win another one. It's you never know. So
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with y'all. I think this means the most to Patrick Mahomes. Like a lot of people putting the GOAT status on him already. And this will help solidify his status as being the greatest of all time. And then he'll be inching closer to Brady. So, you know, I think he's up there. He's trending right there to be the best. But I think he needs to go ahead and then accomplish this and get this three-peat. Now greater help his chances. But I agree with Calvin. If he gets the three-peat, then yeah, Brady's 1A, Patrick is 1B.
Before we move on, uh, and the killer thing is that he's still relatively young. He's only what, 27,
29.
29.
29?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He still had all of that ability for him to be that age.
As
So
long as Andy Reid stay there, I think,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Andy
so
Reid is chasing the coach of the best coaching record too. I think he's I think maybe 25, 23 wins away.
so
So
so yeah. So when you put that into perspective,
mm.
you give him another tight end. Cause that's really all you need is another tight end, and you good to to
yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
You get somebody to plug and play, get him in free
That's
agency
another
or
thing too.
something.
The Swifties is gonna be out. The Swifties.
I'll go crazy. Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
Getting tired of it already, man.
I
But
think
one,
Trump gonna be there
Already.
too. I
oh
heard
yeah.
Man,
Man,
they say
yeah,
that's
he said
everybody
he
gonna
gonna
be
wild.
be
there.
there.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's
They
another.
trying to watch history.
Yeah, that's another podcast episode right there,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right. Is everybody good? We're moving on.
Oh, I just want to
Yes,
add one more
sir.
thing.
All right, go ahead.
Also, again, when Brady won that seventh one, of course, that was without Bill Belichick too.
Mm,
So it's been he moved to a team again that was not in playoff contention, and I know they had Mike Evans and they had some pieces there. They had a pretty
good
good
point.
defense, but I said that was that first year too that he was there that he won that chip. It
Oh yeah,
wasn't
that's
like
crazy.
a few years. It took that first year after he left Belichick with Tampa Bay. It's like that's another thing. Like I don't think. I mean, Mahomes is good, but I don't know if he can change a franchise like that fast.
That
especially
had to be such an indictment against Jameis Winston,
That
bro.
is a
Like,
good point.
yeah,
like he literally took the exact same roster and won the chip
Mm-hmm.
with it. Like,
yep. So
crazy.
I just want
Low key,
that caveat.
low key. If I'm Jameis,
That 30 for
I'm
30
kind of
did it
hating on
to
him a
him.
little bit. If I'm
I,
Jameis, I'm kind of hating
I
a
don't
little,
think
little.
Jameis has the capacity to hate nothing.
No,
Jameis
Fact,
is pure
fact.
comedy.
Jameis is
no.
just like, I'm just glad to be here.
You got that right. Hey,
That man is entertainment. I can't wait to see him as a news anchor after his career. It's gonna be great.
Or, or a sports analyst.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I can see him in broadcasting. He'll be a great commentator. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Next question I have for you all is: do you believe Saquon is the missing piece for the Eagles to dethrone the Chiefs?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, he
Well,
carried him this far, so
they
I'll say
had a
yes.
chance
I mean, he got to be.
last year. I
They
mean,
got
year
that
before
far with
last
Miles Sanders
when they
and
played.
Saquon, what, 3 times better than Miles. So he is have to lean on Saquon to get it done. I mean, they've been leaning on him the whole season. They ran through the Commanders pretty easily. So Saquon's the key to this whole thing. And I feel like that's why they have a pretty good chance of doing this, because Baltimore week 1 versus the Chiefs were able to run the ball on. The Bills, if they would have kept running the ball, James Cook would have eclipsed easily over 100 some yards, and they probably would have won the game if they kept running. They went away from it. I feel like they needed more design runs with Josh Allen. So if the Chiefs were struggling against the Bills to stop James Cook, then who's to say they won't do the same thing versus Saquon, who is more dynamic?
I mean, he's definitely a core piece to their success all year long, right? Like, I mean, I'm still pissed that he didn't break that record. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
but it's all going. I mean, the fact that they're here, this was the argument. Like, we need you healthy for the Super Bowl. Now, if they would have lost and not even make it to the Super Bowl, boy, it would have been a hellfire. But that being said, I think that, yeah, I mean, he's definitely a core piece to what they're going to their game plan against the Chiefs. Um, I honestly, though, I mean, my opinion, I don't think that he's going to be a huge factor. I think Spags has the game plan centered around, if anybody's going to beat us, it's going to be Jalen Hurts throwing ability. I think that he's keening in on that run game, because the thing that Saquon gives the Eagles offense that they didn't have in their previous Eagles run is, as you mentioned, Miles Garrett or Miles I forgot what his last name is.
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, every boom boom. Uh, Saquon gives you that electricity. He gives you that 20-25 yard run that kind of kickstart the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Those little splash plays, if you will. Um, I think Spags has the game plan to kind of limit that as much as possible. I think this is my opinion. I think if the Eagles do win, I think the core piece, the singular player that's going to be the difference is going to be Dallas Goddard. I think Dallas Goddard, just how the Chiefs have played tight ends this year, I think that's the one kind of area that they're going to really try to hit home on. I think that once they try to, they're going to throw everything at stopping Saquon's electric plays. They're going to focus on Jalen Hurts' decision making, because they're going to blitz the crap out of him. As I mentioned before, he's a bottom 10 quarterback when he's blitzed, when you look at the statistics. So when Jalen Hurts is getting blitzed, I think that outlet pass is going to be to Dallas Goddard. So that's just my take.
So for me, Saquon Barkley, amazing running back. You don't get very many Saquons in the NFL. Like, he is obviously a top 3 running back, and it's not arguable. You can't name. I mean, I might give you 2 over him, but there's going to be no more. Now, will that transition over into the Super Bowl? He's just been absolutely dominating the playoffs. I mean, the Rams in the snow, what he had like 200 yards rushing in that game. He had another like 150 or so against Washington. But is he going to be able to do that against Kansas City? I really don't know. But he is a huge piece. Like, is he the piece to get them over? Like I said, I'm not sure because coaching to me matters, and I think Kansas City has the better coaching staff. So, all in all, though, I mean, if they win, it could very well be because of him. You know, he's busted 60, 70 plus yard runs in every playoff game this year.
He
So,
can get
That's
it.
crazy.
see, just a
That's crazy.
caveat, too. I know this might not matter, but I've got a pretty good friend of mine who does a lot of betting on sports. You don't get to plus 125 on Saquon's rushing yards until you get to 125 yards rushing. It is negative all the way up till then. So everybody, including Vegas, is expecting him to have a huge rushing game. So if they do win, I mean, he's going to be a huge piece if they do win because everybody's expecting him to have well over 100 yards rushing.
That's
Right.
a great point. Yeah, I know
So
that
you
was a very interesting stat there for sure. And
so you
like I
should
say, just piggyback what y'all was saying, is the same thing. Yeah, he's a huge piece. Again, I think that's why he was very, touted, to be like even, and of course, the Cowboys want everybody, but but again, running back of his caliber. Again, everybody goes back to that post with the New York Giants. Like always, Saquon's going, what he's going to go, going to stay. What happened? Again, they lost out on him. Let's see where they at now. So again, they didn't again give him the piece they wanted, and he wanted to go win. And again, we see again with again a great line that again the Eagles have, and again with his hip running ability, again he can do damage. And like I said, I think again my prediction again if it's 125, I think he probably will get the 125. But again, will the Chiefs make the adjustment when they see that okay, let's make sure again get that box, get 8, 7, 8 in that box, make sure again let's let Jalen throw it. Let's see what we're gonna do with it. So again, that's why I said just those coaching adjustments like I talked about. Because again, the Chiefs they're gonna make those adjustments needed. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how the game plays out. But yeah, Saquon will be definitely a huge piece for sure.
yeah, my
Yeah,
my co-host he threw this stat at me. I don't know if it's true or not. I should have checked him. But he said that the Chiefs haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 18 games.
I was
So
just about to
if that's
mention that
true,
in my.
then the Eagles they're gonna have to come out with a different game plan. I would say some play action early and get Jalen's on the move because if that's true, then you already know how the Chiefs gonna come out trying to stop the run. They're gonna turn the run off, as my co-host RC say. They're gonna turn it off. So hopefully they have a different game plan. Don't they can't open the playbook and say Saquon run. It gotta be something else in there. So we gonna see. Maybe AJ Brown get loose. Who knows? He haven't had a big game in I don't know when.
Yeah.
Or Smitty.
How you said what?
Or Smitty. Let
Oh
Oh,
Smitty
yeah,
he
get
good.
loose.
yeah. But yeah, I say Saquon is their best chance to win, and that's why you go out and get a Saquon Barkley is for moments like this. Um, and I seen this stat on ESPN. They said the Chiefs haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in the playoffs since 2019. So
Mm.
you're gonna need a big game for Saquon to go off to have a chance to win this game. You got to be creative in the running game. Kellen Moore got to draw up some creative runs because the Chiefs are going to try to load that box up. So I think that's why you go out and get a Saquon Barkley is to slow down the Kansas City Chiefs, keep that offense off the field, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, and take some pressure off of Jalen Hurts because the last time they played in the Super Bowl, I felt like it was all in Jalen Hurts' hands. And Miles Sanders, he wasn't reliable. But I remember Jalen Hurts was just running all over the place. He was doing the best he could to try to Superman them a Super Bowl win. So
Most definitely. I feel
Yep.
like
yep,
Jalen's gonna have to play a big role, just like he had 4 touchdowns versus the Commanders. Uh, he's gonna have to have a pretty big game. I think, kind of like you mentioned, Calvin's fads when he blitz him, he kind of worrisome. So Jay gonna have to be on point with Saquon to get this offense moving. If Jalen's struggling, it don't matter how much Saquon do, they probably not gonna bring home the win.
Yeah. All right. We have a couple of more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. But next thing I have for y'all is what was your favorite Super Bowl moment?
Well,
Oof.
I'm a Saints fan, so it always gonna be the first Super Bowl for me. Tracy Porter picking off Peyton Manning. I mean, I was in college when that happened, so that was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that play.
In the rain. It's beautiful. It's
It was.
Yeah.
poetry.
It was. What's so funny is my other co-host, he's a Colts fan, so we were actually watching the game together over
Woo!
a friend house, and he wasn't even mad at me, man. He just pat me on the back, he like, "Yeah, y'all deserve it." I'm like, "Okay, appreciate that." So you know how much it meant to me, growing up as a Saint fan, losing all the time, then finally bring home a championship. Man, nothing can beat that.
Uh,
My favorite memory of the Super Bowl, I would say Eli Manning getting out of them sacks. When he threw the ball to David Tyree, for him to get as mobile as he got, and he ain't no mobile quarterback. Yeah, he did the damn thing.
of all the quarterbacks, that's the one that killed the 16-0. That jacked it all up. That's funny. Um, for me, man, it was more of a personal thing. I was in Atlanta. I was volunteering for the Super Bowl. Um, I don't know. Maybe I was. I don't know. But nonetheless, I was on the airplane. Matter of fact, I was in Houston. That's what it was. I was volunteering for. I think it was like the Vinyl Four or something like that they had out there.
Oh,
And I
that's
remember
dope.
I was getting on the plane going back home, and this was the Falcons. This was 28-3. I got on the airplane 28-3. I hated the Patriots. I was ready for them to lose. I was like, all right, Matt Ryan's the MVP. He's gonna win. It was great. They got this young offensive coordinator that everybody's talking about, Kyle Shanahan. I get on that plane as soon as I land, bro. Everybody checked. I'll never forget it. We were on that plane. Everybody checked their phone. All the dudes was like, "The Patriots won." What? I was like, "What?" Everybody on the plane was just distraught. That was just so hilarious to me. I couldn't watch the game, obviously, but I was like, I remember getting on the plane like, "Oh, they up at 28-3. We good. We straight." The Patriots got the L. Soon as I landed, bro, different story. So I think that was more of a less watchable moment, but more of a impactful moment for me that I was like, man, that's great.
So I got a question about that before you go, Mr. G.
uh,
Does that did that performance cement him as a GOAT in your head?
No, the Tampa Bay for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay for sure. I
yeah.
think I think that was more of an indictment on Kyle Shanahan, which
Yeah,
you hate me on my 49ers take. So
hey, hey.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of took mine, but of course I'm gonna go back. Of course, the Patriots and Seahawks. Of course, when they did not run the ball and they
Malcolm
threw that
Butler,
pick,
Bruh.
yeah, Butler. So yeah, that always been one of the most infamous and most controversial Super Bowls probably of all time for sure. Well, again, we're not giving him the ball. One of the top running backs at that time. Again, what was it 1 or 2 yard line? Run
Yeah.
the ball. So that was definitely a memory of mine. So I was like, why they really just gave it to him? Literally just gave them that Super Bowl.
by far one of my best defenses ever, bro. That defense was so
Mm-hmm.
loaded, bro. Cam Chandler, that everybody slept on Cam Chandler. He was my favorite player watching on that defense. But that
Mm-hmm.
was just they had so much. Michael Bennett, obviously
Yeah,
man, it was crazy.
and they're all in their prime
Wagner,
too. Yeah,
it's
they're all in
crazy.
their prime. It was crazy. That's why I
They
said
was
I was
hooping.
I was I was scared for Brady that year because I was like that defense is real. That defense was real, real.
Legion of Boom.
Yeah, Legion of Boom. That's what they were calling it too. It's kind of like, yeah, but yeah, that was definitely one of those. Of course, off the halftime show, probably the one 2022. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, when they did their thing for sure. Because I wasn't, of course. I think I was probably alive when Michael Jackson did his, but I didn't watch it back then though. So like off the field, like I said, halftime show probably the Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
You,
that's my favorite one right there.
mm-hmm.
All right, my favorite Super Bowl moment was David Tyree catch against the Patriots in Super Bowl 42. There's a minute 15 left remaining in the fourth quarter. That it was 3rd and 5 on the Giants 44-yard line. When he made that catch, I was like, man, that was crazy. Like I never seen anything like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like ever since after that play, a lot of other players try to mimic it, try to catch the ball using their helmet. So I was
Yeah,
like, man, that's crazy.
it can be
Then
done
It
again.
works for him. It should work for me, right?
Yeah. Mm, definitely. But just the way in the moment, everything that happened was just unbelievable. Like I said, it was pretty much. I remember I was actually rooting for the Patriots to win that year too,
Yeah,
because
me
I
too.
kind of wanted to see history again, literally go all the way through without losing. And when he
Mhm.
caught that ball, I was like, yeah, it's game over. They finna. That was it. That was a switch right there. That's what they needed.
all right, I have this last question. Then I have a bonus question after this one, and then we wrap this episode up. But last question is, who do you have winning?
Believe it or not, I am taking the Eagles.
Mm.
I'm taking the Eagles. It just, man, the Eagles, they've been playing way better defense from the start of the season to now. Cooper DeJean all over the place. Mitchell, a young rookie. We have Zach Braun came onto the scene. I mean, them Jalen Carter, they all flying around the field getting pressure. So, like I said, the Eagles have to beat the Chiefs like the Buccaneers beat them. Fluster Patrick Mahomes, get out them as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and try to limit him to the sideline. That's the only way. So they're gonna have to take control of the clock. They're gonna have to put points on boards, not kick field goal. Don't actually have to score touchdowns. Can't score field goals against the Chiefs and expect to win. So when they get down the red zone, they gotta convert. But that's the only way the Eagles will win is if they take command. I'll say like a 2 touchdown lead. That's the only way. They gotta keep putting on points. If not, it might be a long night for them. So I'm taking Eagles and I'm taking the money line. I'm trying to win some cash.
As much as I would love for the Eagles to win, I I hate to tell you, but I gotta go with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Just off of experience and kind of like how Tom Brady was. You don't get that man. It gotta be 0.00 for you to win.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm taking the Chiefs. I think obviously it's a coaching mismatch. Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat earlier this season. Kellen Moore doesn't stack up to the offensive firepower that the Chiefs have in Matt Nagy and Andy Reid. Obviously, I mentioned about Nick Fangio's record against Patrick Mahomes, which he's holding a whole donut there. But obviously, and I'll just mention what Lawrence just alluded to, just the experience of this moment. I think a lot of what goes unseen is just the nuances that happens of the Super Bowl, the media day, the extra long pauses of commercial breaks, just that extra time in the at halftime for the halftime show. Like the Eagles have been there before, but it literally is like another day for the Chiefs, and they have, and luckily again, it goes back to coaching. They have Andy Reid there, who's been in multiple Super Bowls. He's been with the Eagles. He's been on the other side of this,
Mhm.
so he knows what to expect, and the team overall knows what to expect during these long moments or those when the lights are the brightest. So I think they're definitely going to bring it home. Their last game scoring over 30 points their first time in the season. I think they're going to score 30 again. I think it'll be like 32-26.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm the same way I'm thinking. Like I said, I think about the roster of the Eagles and, the way they're playing again. I can see it going both ways for sure. Like I said, I won't be surprised the Eagles win, and I won't be surprised the Chiefs win. But like I said, if I had to pick one, I would definitely go for the Chiefs. Like I say, I think the coaches really matter with this game, and like I said, I think that will make those again adjustments needed, especially early on if they see Saquon, getting some yards. They're going to, make the adjustments necessary to make sure Jalen Hurts is the one that has to beat them. Because again, I think as we talked about before, Saquon again, if he goes off, most likely they will win. So, and again, as that opens up the passing game for Jalen Hurts, you can get Goddard, you can get AJ Brown, you can get Devontae Smith. He can really open up his game once Saquon gets going, and then they can really, control the clock and do all those things. So, but again, I was saying all that. I think again, Mahomes, and again, it's not about the refs, it's nothing like that. Again, it's just about hey. I think Mahomes, again, he's still a great player. And again, I think he will get the job done at the end of the day with his coaching staff and his defense behind him.
Yeah, I'm out to roll with the Chiefs as well. Um, I feel like Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, they're gonna find some way to win. I feel like the Zebras may help him out a little bit, even though they denying the fact that the Zebras are helping them. But I think there'll be a few controversial calls that'll swing their way. Patrick Mahomes will make a few spectacular plays, and the Chiefs will do just enough to win the game. They'll find a way to neutralize Saquon in the running game, and Spags is going to call up a great defensive game plan against that.
A lot of people sleep on the player that has who's the most fresh of both squads, and that is Hollywood Brown.
Mm.
Mm.
So he sleep. He ain't
That's a
had
good
no
point.
action all year except the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a great point.
All right, this is the bonus question I have for y'all, and we really don't have to get real deep into it. You can just give me your answer, and then we can keep it going. But we all know Kendrick Lamar. He's performing for the Super Bowl. So, which song do you think Kendrick will perform first?
Family ties.
Mm,
Ooh,
that's a good one,
I think
and
Luther.
I wasn't expecting it.
I'm gonna say
Luther.
Luther.
Since it can't come out that early, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I'm thinking he's going retro. Good Kid, Mad City. I think he's gonna start it off like
Oh,
that. It's a classic. Yeah, that's gonna set it up.
like it.
We all know what the last is gonna be. So
Oh yeah,
We definitely will. Mm-hmm.
Drake crying right now.
Still trying to sue.
Bad week for my man. Sheesh.
Hey, not
Well,
bad
bad
year.
year. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm about to say bad year. Yeah.
and the year just started.
He gonna be back though. He gonna be back though.
mm-hmm. Got a new album
Swift,
drop.
what you got, bro?
I really don't have one, but I feel like they need to play Squabble Up when both teams come out. That's why. That's why I feel like they need to play.
Hey, low key.
All right, I got a couple of old school Kendrick songs. I got three, and I'm narrowed it down to one. I think he'll come out with swimming pools.
That's an interesting pick,
Yeah, yeah, because he's
especially if
in
it
New
was
Orleans, so it makes sense. So that's
yeah, especially who was featuring. So
I'm not a betting man, but are we gonna see a Little Wayne appearance? Maybe potentially. We
I
gonna
nah,
put a
saw
we gonna we
articles
gonna
say
put a
he's not
stack on it or
attending the
what?
Super Bowl.
nah.
We gonna put a stack on it?
I don't know. That's
I'm gonna let you have that
I
one.
wish it would though happen though.
Hey, there's
That act,
a big bet. There's always a big bet going on for every Super Bowl about a streaker. I think one
Yeah,
dude won like 5 mil last time.
What?
dang.
Like they bet
Sure,
they
I just
bet
bet there
money
every
on a
time then.
streaker.
I wonder how much he put down though.
But I think this one is even more because y'all seen how much security is out there. They got snipers
Mm,
on the roof.
Oh yeah, they
So
trying to get.
like,
Mm-hmm.
But that's more for the president's coming too, though.
mm, mm.
so if you can get out there on the field this game,
Ooh.
All right, see, Calvin, let's link up, and you go to Super Bowl, and you run out there, and I bet on you.
I got kids. I
I'll give
got
you half of the
kids.
winnings.
I'm trying to see my babies grow, man.
They don't want their dad out there trying to streak out there trying to make some money.
You're
How
right.
about how about
Hey
Calvin?
man, just run
Is
out
that
there. I'll give
you?
you half, man. I'll give you half.
That's why. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully they do though. Again, some way it says. I know it's been limited time, but I was like, I really hope he does pull the Wayne out there at least for one
I,
song at least.
I think when it comes to that, the whole Wayne thing, I
Mm-hmm.
think they had all this time to to have him do it. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't the first time it's been in New Orleans,
There you go.
so you could have been had him have his moment.
Yeah,
Why you
but
want to wait and cry and moan about it now?
yeah, but I think
Put
because
some respect on his name.
yeah, but I think the
I
thing
didn't
is
say he's not legit. I
No,
said
yeah,
he's not the
no, no,
goat.
no, not you. I'm talking about the NFL.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean
NFL.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but he ain't had no hot song out either though.
Hey, he's sleeping on Wayne. That's a different conversation. He been if you having some, hey, you gotta be into the game, man. Like he be having
No,
some things.
but what I'm
Hey,
saying is,
that's for another episode.
Yeah.
We gotta go. All right, well, I appreciate y'all having y'all on. Um, being guests on our show, and y'all make sure y'all follow these guys on TikTok and on Instagram. By Swift is Voice of the Fans Sportcast. You can find him on TikTok and Instagram. You can find Calvin on TikTok by Takes by Calvin and on Instagram by Takes by Calvin. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy this weekend. Y'all enjoy the Super Bowl.